welcome to Ipulse. My name is Jackie Birch.
And I am Olivia Doles.
On September 20th, youth and concerned citizens all over the world joined a global protest action against climate change. The protests are partly inspired by the activism of Swedish teenager Greta Thunberg, who has staged weekly demonstrations under the names Fridays for Future over the past year, demanding leaders to step up their efforts against climate change. Thunberg tweeted, quote, "Over 4 million people on the climate strike today in 163 countries and counting. And if you belong to one of those small number of people who feel threatened by us, then we have some very bad news for you. This is just the beginning. Change is coming, whether you like it or not," end quote.
There has been a real hero during a Texas flood. Satchel Smith, a 21-year-old college student, assisted the guests of Homewood Suites in Beaumont, Texas, due to a tropical storm, Imelda, hitting Wednesday afternoon, September 18th. Smith's 8-hour shift turned into a 32-hour shift by himself. Everyone in the Homewood Suites were stranded there for 2 days. Smith stepped up and cooked meals, answered questions, delivered room service, and filled any other jobs that needed assisting. Smith made everyone feel safe. To the guests, Smith was known as a hero. Smith said, quote, "Everything happens for a reason," end quote.
The Bahamas hurricane has its own set of victims, dogs. The islands are unable to treat all wounded dogs properly. Some hospitals have opened up their doors and are using their trauma-trained staff to treat the injured dogs, as the vets are unable to keep up. People are just reluctantly giving up their dogs to come to Palm Beach. However, they know that they will be safe and receive proper veterinary care. Rescues assure the owners will be reunited with their pets. Big Dog Ranch Rescue is using cruise ships to bring the dogs over. They have brought over 1,400 Bahamian dogs and have reunited 300 dogs with their evacuated owners. Lori Simmons told the Palm Beach Post, quote, the other dogs in Florida with the foster families as they wait to reunite with their Bahamian owners, send, quote, end quote. If you would like to volunteer or donate, please visit bigdogrescue.com.
On Tuesday, September 17th, Ed Buck, a small-time Democratic donor and political activist, was charged in California with operating a drug house, administering meth, and battery, accused of being a violent and dangerous sexual predator who targets vulnerable men. It was not until a third man survived a drug overdose that Mr. Buck was finally arrested. After Mr. Buck's arrest was announced to the public, local supporters and family members of the 3 individuals said they were thankful after the charges were filed. If convicted of the current charges, Buck could face up to 5 years and 8 months in prison.
EEE is a rare yet potentially deadly disease spread by mosquito bites to humans. It has been reported that there have been 7 cases of EEE, resulting in 3 deaths already this past year. Even those who are in perfect health can be infected by the disease. Symptoms include sudden or continuous headaches, high fevers, chills, vomiting, disorientation, or seizures, which often lead to comas. This disease is known to be at the highest risk for those 50 years and older and those 15 years and younger. Healthcare officials urge people to use proper precautions, including the use of bug spray, whenever exposed to conditions where mosquitoes can be.
Stay tuned for more news from iPulse coming up.
I have never bought a dog from a pet store, and I'm not sure why people would buy a dog when there are so many dogs in shelters.
Experience having a dog from a shelter is amazing from day one. I mean, they immediately bond with you and appreciate you, and the feeling that you get from saving their life and bringing them into your home is the best feeling in the world.
I got Penny from Tri-County, and I was really committed to getting a rescue dog, and I was looking for the ugliest dog there because I really believe in adopting ugly dogs.
My favorite picture of her is watching her hang over the side of a large boat, just living the life as if, you know, she doesn't know where she came from. She knows where she is now.
Hello, I'm Tenekai Mugabe.
And I'm Brian Ryder.
The United States is deploying military forces to the Middle East after the attack on oil sites in Saudi Arabia on Saturday. The weapons used in the attack were produced in Iran. The United States Secretary of Defense, Mark Esper, said, quote, "Troops would be focused on air and missile defenses." According to NBC News, the United States will also speed up military hardware shipping to Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, so it will be available at a moment's notice.
The 71st Primetime Emmy Awards were live this past Sunday, allowing Game of Thrones to make history, winning an astonishing 12 Emmy Awards. The thrilling series won the most awards of any television drama in history. During a series tribute, a montage played of the final season's best, most powerful moments. Included was one of the most controversial scenes where Arya stabs Daenerys as well as the Night King. According to the New York Times, people aired their disappointment on Twitter, arguing that the montage highlighted major spoilers, which is unfair to those who haven't finished the series.
On September 18th, Tropical Storm Lorena turned into a hurricane just off the coast of Colima, Mexico. By early Thursday, between Port Manzanillo and Puerto Vallarta, Lorena was expected to make landfall. According to the United States National Hurricane Center, they predicted Lorena had winds up to 70 miles per hour. On Friday, Hurricane Lorena made her way towards Cabo San Lucas. Residents were told to evacuate. Boat owners pulled their vessels out of the water. Juan Hernandez said to the AP newsroom, quote, "If we don't get the yacht out, the waves can damage it." Mr. Hernandez rents his crafts to tourists and visitors. Damaging winds and flash flooding have been predicted.
The Melbourne Cup is a horse racing event held in Australia on November 5th. After serious backlash from agreeing to perform at the Melbourne Cup, Taylor Swift cancels her concert. She was criticized on social media by animal rights activists. According to Fox News, Michael Gudinski from Mushroom Events said, quote, "Regrettably, Taylor is no longer able to make it to this year's Melbourne Cup. Changes to her Asian promo schedule have made it logistically impossible for her to be here. To all of Taylor's fans, we hope to see Taylor in Australia in 2020. Her fans cried out to her to cancel the show and to use her voice to take a stand against animal abuse. A trending hashtag #NupToTheCup, was created to raise awareness. Although there was no official statement from Swift that this is the reason she canceled the show, many think that this is the true reason.
Star wide receiver Antonio Brown has been released by the New England Patriots after more accusations of sexual assault were released against Brown. Brown has been accused of raping his ex-trainer, Brittany Taylor, on 3 separate instances in 2017 and 2018. This is just one of the many controversies that have followed Brown over the past year, and speculation has risen around whether he will ever play in the NFL again.
Daniel Hernandez, best known as Tekashi 6ix9ine, is in a jail cell facing 47 years minimum to charges that include attempted murder, assault, robbery, and more. It was brought to light that 6ix9ine was in a gang called 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods, and when arrested, he was offered a plea deal that required him to give everything he knew about the gang and the people involved in exchange for a lighter sentence and witness protection. During the last 3 days, 6ix9ine has been testifying as a witness against his ex-manager, Shoddy, and others who are part of the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods. The members of this gang have been accused of trafficking, murder, drugs, and more, and with the help of 6ix9ine, they all face arrest now. In the music industry, what Tekashi 6ix9ine is doing is referred to as snitching. Some celebrities have been quoted saying the following about the 6ix9ine case. "Streets really done when people openly feel you can live a certain way for fame and money, then throw others under the bus to save themselves and say they snitching to be with their family." As the trial continues to go on and Tekashi 6ix9ine continues to implicate other rappers as being part of gangs, we all wait to hear the final verdict.
Stay tuned for
more Ipulse after this.
Do you ever drop your ID and cards, or even cash? Do you ever need a place to put it?
Well, we have a solution for you, the phone pocket. This is a very simple solution to an ordinary problem. It allows you to put your card right in the back of your phone and carry it wherever you go.
This is convenient for college students who don't want to bring their wallet everywhere. So you can buy this phone pocket for only $5. It comes in many different colors, simple, reliable, and affordable.
I'm Taryn Super.
And I'm Mark Vormaker.
The vaping epidemic has taken a deadly turn for the worse. Over the past several weeks, 7 people have died from e-cigarettes and vaping products. The FDA has already investigated over 450 cases across the country and finding there's a definite correlation between lung illnesses and vaping e-cigarettes. Investigators are finding synthetic and dangerous drugs are also playing a role in the ongoing epidemic. Capital Gazette reports that a young man is now in long-term coma after vaping synthetic CBD. Currently, politicians are calling for a clampdown on e-cigarettes and other vaping products. Right now, a popular company named Juul is being investigated by the FDA. Juul has been banned in their hometown of San Francisco, and a similar incident could spread across the nation.
According to the recent news, killer mosquitoes were found in several states of the country. The virus that was found is called Eastern Equine Encephalitis, or EEE, and spreads around cold states such as New Jersey, Massachusetts, or Michigan. The virus already killed 1 person. 3 more people were diagnosed with EEE. This virus has been found in animals as well. A couple of farmers from Connecticut and Delaware reported about EEE infection in their animals. A research scientist with the Connecticut Agricultural Experiment Station, Phil Armstrong, said, quote, "The trees are an important component. The mosquito larvae develop around the roots of these trees that grow in swamps. It is better for now to distance yourself from such places as swamps or the dirt," end quote.
The World Health Organization is starting to pay close attention to the country of Tanzania after having suspicions that Tanzania officials are attempting to cover up a potential Ebola virus case. After a few cases of people falling ill and 1 dying after displaying Ebola-like symptoms, Tanzania officials stated that they believe there is no threat of Ebola within the country. Though the World Health Organization is hesitant to believe such claims since Tanzania has refused to allow them to test the samples themselves. U.S. Secretary of Health and Human Service Alex Azar is worried about the potential dangers that could occur if Tanzania were attempting to cover up the truth. Alex Azar told AP that he was, quote, very concerned about the lack of transparency when asked about the issue.
Thomas Cook, a 178-year-old travel company, has announced bankruptcy. It comes as a shock as thousands of travelers have been left stranded at the airport or even abroad as they are unable to make their return flights. The travel operator's demise was foreseen after lots of mismanagement and their failure to keep up with their online competitors. Richard Branson told CNN, quote, that he believes the collapse of the traveling company was mainly due to the drop in the British pound. It comes as a shock to multiple customers as they use this traveling company for many years, and to see their demise is a sad thing to see.
2 years after winning $725,000 in a lawsuit against the publisher of the neo-Nazi website, The Daily Stormer, Taylor Dumpson finally meets her tormentor. Taylor Dumpson was the first African-American student body president of the American University. Her appointment to this position made an angry mob send demeaning racist threats to her online. Creator of The Daily Stormer, Andrew Anglin, encouraged these trolls to target Dumpson shortly after her historic win. There was even some symbolic threats made toward Dumpson. On the day she was sworn in as student body president, bananas hanging on nooses were caught all around campus with a message that read, quote, "Harambe," end quote. Nevertheless, Dumpson still managed to graduate and enroll in law school. Since then, Angelin's website has been taken down and he has apologized for his past actions. Despite everything she went through, Dumpson told CNN, quote, that she was able to look him in the eye because she has a true belief that people can change, end quote.
After the terrible Hurricane Dorian, the Bahamas are in recovery. Even 2 weeks after the hurricane, the destruction of different areas such as the East Grand Bahama still looks like a war zone. There are still a lot of unidentifiable bodies, and the police make clear that, quote, it is very difficult for them to go see their own people, said Patricia Freeling, a volunteer in the east of the Great Bahama. Nowadays, different foundations and people continue to dedicate themselves to the recovery of the island. The bad state of the island is obvious as many of the residents are now homeless and many citizens found dead. It continues to increase. Thank you and see you next week.
For more news, pick up a copy of the Ipulse.